You see, everything in life has limits, but the mind naturally is afraid of those limits because it represents the inevitable reality of our death. But because of that, of that ignorance of the limiting nature of life, we tend to take life for granted because we think we have unlimited time. We think that our youth is always forever. We think that we're always going to be there. Our parents are always going to be there. Our youth is always going to be there. Our health is always going to be there. And because of our fear of our inevitable doom, we tend to suppress that reality. And because of that, we end up wasting our time, wasting our relationship, never truly appreciating the people in our lives until reality hits us and we realize we were wrong. And we realize our youth is not forever. Our parents are not going to be here forever. Father Alex, it's not going to be here forever. Understanding the limiting nature of life brings us closer to life. And the thing about life is that life has a way to remind us. We all have those little moments of reminding that life is limited, where we have a brush with death. Or maybe our partners almost die, our parents almost die. Or maybe we have a sickness and we don't know whether or not WebMD is correct. Do you have colon cancer? We don't know. That's what WebMD said. And so this is what we tend to do in life. We tend to, similar to people who are suppressing reality, they take drugs and it causes them to feel like life is perfect. And it hides that true reality that one day you're going to die. And as humans, and just like with nature, we have to present ourselves that way to people. That I am not always going to be there, that my smiles are not unconditional, that my love for you is not unconditional, and that maybe one day if you do the wrong things, I will leave. We tend to treat others in a way that we try to hide the reality that my love is not conditional. What you have to do is allow people to sense the limits that you have, because we all have limits. But with the people that we love, we present ourselves like unlimited sources of love, like we're freaking golden retrievers. And what happens when we do that? We take them for granted. You know, one of the reasons why humans really love their animals is because animals have a limit in time. Animals have a shorter lifespan than most of our parents and most, humans, right? And because of that limited time, every time we look at our dogs or our ungrateful cats, we look at them through the eyes of death, understanding the true nature of things, that one day, you cute little puppy, you're gonna die one day. And it creates almost like a painful pang in our heart. The experience of our dogs, for example, isn't always positive. With the love we feel, there's an underpinning of pain behind that just doesn't go away, because we know one day they're gonna die. Anytime you experience love without that underpinning of pain of one day they're gonna leave us, we never really treat that person the way that we should be treated. We take them for granted. It's just that simple. There's no other way around it. So as humans, we are the ones that take things for granted the most. Most animals don't. That's another thing about humans, right? Is that most animals don't take things for granted. Most animals, if you have a dog, he's not going to take you for granted. It's a human thing. And you want to know why that is? Because we as humans are very adaptable. We as humans, we sort of we have habituation and adaptation more than any other animal. There's no other animal in the world that can adapt like humans could. Humans have a remarkable ability to adapt to circumstances, a trait that has been crucial for survival throughout evolution. This adaptation process, known as habituation, means that we have become accustomed to certain conditions or possessions. Their perceived value decrease over time, leading us to take them for granted. This can apply to everything from comfort to our homes to the presence of a loved one. And more than any animal, we habituate to people quicker than any animal. I am telling you. And there's no other animal that take things for granted more than us. And the reason why that is because we are so intelligent. We learn so quickly that we habituate very, very fast. And that's great for our environment, but it's not good for relationships. And this is why. Back then, we had the understanding that humans lived for a very short time. And most humans lived around 25 to 30 years. And because of that, the environment had a natural protection against habituation, because we kept in our minds that one day any of us could die. We lived in an environment that if you left, you didn't know whether or not the person was going to come back. So because of lack of safety, it was very difficult to truly adapt to the other person, to truly take him for granted, because death was staring at us every second of the day. But now we live in a place, in a world where we are safe. We know that if you leave, you're going to come back. We know that if you take a vacation with Tyrone, the personal trainer, giving you a discount, that you're going to come back. But back then, you leaving didn't have the same certainty that we feel now. So we live in an environment that's not natural, that causes quick habituation, that causes a lack of connection, a lack of deep love for people, because death is not staring at us all the time. And that's truly the source of the habituation process. And because of that, it creates a sense of entitlement. Let me tell you something, man. When you habituate, there's a lack of emotion. That's something that happens. There's a lack of emotional reaction to the presence of a loved one. If you look at people who are in war, you'll notice people who are fighting together, you'll notice there's a deep and intense expression of emotion. The type of expression that makes the person feel loved, and the type of expression that feels good, and the reason why that is because of the danger that one day you could die. The danger is what brings people together. So now we don't have those dangers. So now you have to create the psychological danger. We have to go out of our ways to create this effect, because the environment where we were raised in created this. It was very difficult to take you for granted because you could die one day. And because of that, you don't develop that entitlement and expectation that we tend to create when we make people take us for granted. A sense of entitlement and high expectation can lead to taking things for granted when individuals expect certain outcomes or standards as a given. Rather than privileges and achievements, they are less likely to appreciate them fully because you give your love too easily. And even though they disrespect you like a goddamn golden retriever, you still give it to them. So how do you make sure this doesn't happen? Well, first of all, you want to... Since people, you got to act a little crazy sometimes. Well, put the knife down, okay? Not crazy that way, but out of character from time to time to break the habituation process. And when I say out of character, I say being more of yourself. Because there's contradictory traits in you that you try to suppress because we want to appear consistent. So you become unpredictable by allowing your natural irrationality to be expressed from time to time. Since we cannot predict those types of people who are unpredictable, they inspire awe and respect. So you want to allow yourself to act out of character. One day you might be, if you're naturally somebody who's talkative, when you're with them one day, be a little quiet. You're going to notice that they're going to start thinking, you got to realize, man, we are not in an environment where death is a certain thing any moment. So there's that clinging is not really there. So you have to superficially create it. So allow yourself to act out of character. Your task then, other things that you could do is play with gender roles. Playing with gender roles is actually one of the most powerful ways to create this impression, not let people take you for granted. And see the power in exploring the mid-ranges of your personality. If you are a soft person, return to your assertive side. If you're assertive, return to your softer side. When confronting people, train yourself to respond in a different way. Give them something different. If you normally attack, defend. If you normally defend, attack. If you normally chase, don't chase. If you usually don't chase, chase. Give them something different from time to time. This is a deliberate process. This will make you unpredictable in a healthy way, which will bring you more respect and appreciation. Now, this is an obvious one, because this happens, for example, when we have a teacher and the teacher is great and then the teacher is sick. And then now we got to deal with the assistant teacher. When the teacher is gone, that's when we appreciate the teacher more. This is just human nature, people. And we are too present in our lives with our partner. We see them everywhere on social media. We text them all the time, and they're always there in our face. Especially now that people are working at home more than before. Back in the days, humans had to go out. Tyrone had to go hunt. Melissa had to go look for fruits and stuff. So couples were not together 24/7. They were not together 24/7. So they had a natural space because of the environment, and you weren't certain you were gonna see them when you return. So this is the simplest strategy out of all that I'm talking about. Is just not always being there, not always texting, not always being on top of them all the time, and not always responding on time. If you respond fast all the time, respond slow. If you respond slow all the time, from time to time, respond fast. Don't let them get used to a pattern. Always be breaking pattern. And you might say, this sounds so exhausting. Stop being selfish, okay? Stop being selfish. You're being selfish. This is so exhausting. Why are people so complicated? Sorry. Stop being so selfish. Think of the other person for once. Don't you know that humans don't like the same thing all the time? Why are you always sending the same text? Why are you always acting the same? Stop complaining. That's why you're watching the video. Okay, calm down. Because it does annoy me, those messages, man. I'm tired of this. Why you gotta be so complicated? Well, okay, then you're just selfish. You're only thinking of yourself. To be romantic takes time and effort and thought. Stop seeing this as a burden. So the more people see you, the less they respect you. Learn to withdraw at the right moment before they unconsciously start pushing you away. That's one thing. And another thing is that you must show them that you don't need them. It's another important quality. You must show them that you don't need them. At least that you are not going to die if you leave them. You must make them feel that you have more than you appear to have. If they lose you, you'll be okay. Just that is enough, honestly. Like, I'm like, honestly, I get pissed off when I see my exes happy. I'm like, bitch, why you happy? I'm like, why you looking better, man? What the fuck? Like, what are you smiling for? Why are you holding his hand? Right? Oh my God, he's fucking toxic. I knew it. Shut up, Melissa. Right? That if they lose you, you'll be okay. This will make them reassess things. And the thing is that people have an inflated sense of self. People think they're more important than they really are. And they think that since they're good, you're never going to find someone. So of course you won't be happy. This inflated sense of self is deflated as soon as they see you, as soon as they sense that that you could be okay without them. You know, people really want to see you suffer when they're gone. Think about it. Imagine that you are a dead person and you go back to your funeral. If you're dead and you see people happy, you're gonna be pissed off. First of all, I'm like, why is this bitch happy? Why is she happy? And why is she high-fiving her personal trainer? I'm like, what? What's going on here? Like, I want to see some weeping here. Where's the paramedic? I want to see some heart attacks. I want to see some convulsion because of sadness. I don't want to see happy. I'm pissed off now. I'm gonna curse all of you guys. You know, people unconsciously they don't want to see you happy when you're gone. It's like a basketball player, right? When a basketball player gets injured, they have a conflicting, let's just say LeBron James gets injured, right? And his team is in the playoffs. A part of LeBron wants the team to win, but a part of LeBron wants the team to lose. And this is actually something that is a real phenomenon in athletes, where they want to see the team win, but they want to see the team win with them. And if they're gone, they want to see the team suffer without them, because and you kind of understand, like, it's a selfish thing, and this is the truth. People are selfish. People are selfish. That's just how it is, man. Everyone is selfish, and everyone has their own agenda. And they try to include their agenda with the team thing. But at the end of the day, people have a unconscious or conscious need to see people suffer in their absence, because it's a reflection of how much are you worth, how much are you missed. And when you think about missing motherfuckers, it's pain, people. Like, oh my fucking God, he's angry. He's going crazy. He's breaking sticks everywhere. Right? You want to see that. And people only realize how important you are when they feel that pain. And sometimes they never feel it because you are just too there. Too there. Heck, even the feeling that you're gonna dump them will make them respect you more. I'm not even kidding with you, man. Just the feeling of that gawning pain that if you might dump them, literally, like if there's like a fucking respectometer, I could promise you, the thought of you leaving them, the respectometer just goes up. And this is the thing: when you're in the face of death, your senses naturally become more intensified. You start to take in the world more. You start to observe more details. You start to observe more nonverbal cues. You take in more of the world because you think this is the last time you're gonna have this. It's almost like your last meal. When inmates who are about to die eat their last meal, I can promise you, they're focusing so much on that meal, they're gonna become enlightened. And it's the same thing. When somebody looks at you with the thought and the unconscious understanding that one day you can leave them, their senses, the aperture of their senses open up. They take in more of you. They literally take in more, like a thirsty person who takes a drink without realizing you drank the whole bottle. There's a unconscious pang of the premature exit of you leaving their lives, that it opens the apertures of their senses and just takes you in, and they unconsciously hold on to the experience for a longer period of time. But it comes through the unconscious or conscious realization that one day if you leave them, that you're gonna eventually move on. It's important to let people know that if they mess with you, you aren't nice anymore. That's another thing. They gotta be able to sense cruelty from you. There's a cruel part of you. There's a darker side to you, and we treat our partners like parents treat their children. They are afraid to show children their dark side. They're afraid to show their children their bad habits. That the fact that they may smoke. That the fact that that they, like, for example, mobsters don't want their kids to know that they're part of the mob because they're afraid of it, and so they hide certain parts of themselves to their kids. And that's not how it should be. You got to show people the full ranges of yourself. There's really nothing to fear there. If you have a darker side, you got to find a way to show it, because your dark side is the contours of your personality. It's what really gives you shape. And your dark side is what causes people to hesitate to fuck with you. And one of the most important things is to have a crazy side. A side that says, if you fuck with me, I don't give a fuck about how many friends we have together. I'm ruining this whole thing and leaving your ass. And that has a touch of insanity. That people do have an unconscious respect for the insane. We're not talking about go full Psycho Melissa mode, Psycho Tyrone mode. No, but I'm just saying that you want to be able to communicate that one way or the other. And one way is just to have moments of selfishness. If you're too selfless, especially when you love someone, we tend to do that, which causes them to take us for granted. You got to be selfish. Have moments of selfishness, man. Everyone is selfish and has their own agenda, man. Too much selflessness doesn't breed respect. The less you try to please people, the more they're likely to respect you in the long run. Stop trying to be all kumbaya all the time. Sometimes show people I'm selfish. Show that sometimes. Get them to be a little, man, you little selfish motherfucker. That it doesn't push them away. It just it allows them to have a little bit of like, okay, there's a side to you. It doesn't push people away. A lot of people think it does, but it just doesn't. People forgive you more. People are more forgiveful than people imagine, you know, especially with love. And the reason why is because humans naturally, they want to, when they like someone, when they like you, it just creates a halo effect. You know, so even though you might show negative traits, they'll notice it, but they'll suppress it. They'll suppress the fact that you're being selfish. And how does the suppression works? Well, when you suppress something, you get the information, and you, for example, let's just say your dad was a murderer, for example. My dad was a murderer, right? And what the brain will do is that you're gonna like be aware of the information, but it's almost like an emotional muffle. It'll literally like an emotional muffle, like putting a muffle over something. You kind of have this weird ability to create a fog over it and a muffle over it, where you can see the form of the fact that your dad is a murderer. You can even hear the fact that your dad is a murderer, but you create a muffle and an emotional cloud that you sort of have a way to just look away. It's like that's my way of describing suppression, where you are aware of the information, but you make it pixelated and muffled, so you can't fully hear it or see it, but you know it's there, and it takes up a lot of your energy too. It's not good for you. But the act of doing that ingrains the person deeper into your psychology, because to suppress something is to use your unconscious mind. So being able to have negative and positive traits, the negative traits, they're going to ignore the negative traits, but the act of ignoring the negative traits, it's almost like it requires them to put you in there, like it requires them to store you where their unconscious mind lies. And that denial of the negative traits is almost like an indication of how deeply wired you're in. And also just if you just deny things about certain people because you like them, you're almost fault by the act of creating denial makes you fall in love with them even further. Because you're almost like you're almost, the deeper in a state of denial you are, it's almost like it's I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it to people, but it's like, if you gotta deny this, it means you really like it. But also, if you deny it, you are unconsciously creating more. You're unconsciously loving them more. If that makes any sense. That's what parents do with kids. My son is not a murderer. He just stabbed a few people. Walk it off. You know? And a lot of parents, you know, it's almost like the problem child, right? Where everyone knows that you're a problem and you have a lot of issues, but the parents are in denial. And the denial is a sign of their love, but also just the denial creates more love. And they'll end up loving the child who's more problematic than the child who's not problematic. It's a crazy thing, man. And the funny thing is that the problematic child is never taken for granted. The one who's taken for granted is a child that actually behaves. Be a little problematic from time to time. Give them something to deny, something to suppress. It won't hurt your case. They'll like you more. Oh my God, Father Alex is being evil. Sorry, man. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. All right, if you guys enjoy these videos about stoicism, dating, relationships, self-help, moving up in life, I would recommend you guys check out some of my courses that I have for sale. These courses are courses for men and women. For example, Nice Girl, Nice Guy is a course about how to become more assertive. Natural Chemistry is a course for women that I have on how to develop strong relationships. Dark Game is a controversial course that I have for guys on how to attract women in their life and keep it. It's not as dark as it seems, but we do talk about some dark psychology in here. Psychological Game of Attraction is a course that we made for women who are single. And as you see, we have a course about how to develop charisma, emotional mastery, which is a course about how to develop a meditation practice and how to improve your emotional life, to become more resilient, to not let rejection hit you so hard, to be able to bounce back from failure. I have a course called Nice Guy, which is a course for guys who are single and guys who want to be able to develop more assertiveness training, right? Most of these courses come at $99. And there you could also purchase the bundle where you guys can purchase all of the courses in one go at a discounted rate, right? We have a bundle for women and a bundle for men. So click in the description down below to check them out. You could browse around and see the courses that you like. And if you don't like them, you guys can ask for a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I'll give you guys the money back, okay? And in fact, we actually have a new one for women right now we're developing. It's called The Feminine Woman. So if you're a woman watching, this course is specifically to help women become more feminine, to embrace their feminine while embracing their masculine energy. And I'm actually going to make a course for that, like that for men, which is called the Masculine Man, which is a course on how to develop masculinity and develop masculine energy, to attract women in your life, to attract business success in your life, to be able to be better socializing, to read people better. It's truly an all-around course. So if you guys want to check out those courses, click on the description down below where it says purchase the courses, and I'll see you guys inside. Bye-bye.